Would I be wrong for leaving my husband for not standing up for me? I 27 female married to my husband 32 male of 18 months together for 5 years and have 2 children together 3-year-old male and 18-month-old female. I'm wondering if I should leave my husband for constantly disrespecting me and not considering my feelings. My husband has a best friend, brother-like bond with his closest friend. For the sake of this post I'll call him Jack. Jack's wife, let's call her Jill, were throwing a barbecue birthday party for their 11-year son, name not important. On to the issue. Everyone was out the front sitting around the veranda eating and drinking, and I was on the grass on my hands and knees giving horsey rides to my son while my daughter chased after us and my son slipped off my back and landed on my left hand, 16 kilograms weight landing on 3 rings and bones. And I yelped in pain and growled, "Get off my hand, little tick turd, that hurts." Tick turd is a pet name my husband gave our son, inside joke if you will, and my son immediately hugged me and said, "Love you, mummy." Suddenly I hear someone yelling and screaming about child abuse and horrible parenting, and it took me a moment to realize that Jill's mother, whom I barely knew, was screaming insults and swears at me. So once the shock wore off, I looked at Jill to see if she was going to say something to her mother, but she was just sitting not saying anything, and I was getting frustrated by someone going off on me for no reason. Jill's mum. Screaming insults I barely understand. Me. Oh, be quiet. Jill's mum. Excuse me, what did you say? Me. What makes you think you can talk to me like that? BTW, I suffer from PTSD, anxiety and severe depression from child abuse, neglect and being raised by narcissistic parents. Jill's mum. You have some FNERVES talking to me like that. Jill. Angrily, you know she's my mum, right? Me. Yeah, so? While giving that "are you serious" face. Jill's mum. I have to leave before I do something I regret. Jill. To my husband, you need to collect your wife and leave right now. So my husband takes me home and says I am a terrible person for snapping at Jill's family because Jill is like a bear who will kill you if you do anything to her cubs. So I tell him he is a terrible person for sitting there and not sticking up for me, and I went to sleep in the spare room. My husband is extremely mad at me because he can't hang with them until our fight is resolved, and he wants me to stop rocking the boat. And while he understands I'm upset, I need to get over it and to calm down and grow up, and if I ever give him an ultimatum between me or his best buddy and godchildren, he'll choose them over me. Help me, wise strangers of the internet, would I be wrong for calling the quits? My husband and I are the godparents to all 4 of their kids, and the hubbies are matching tattoo brothers. TLTR. Playing with my kids and random woman screams I'm an abusive parent. Well, you win the prize for the weirdest shit I've ever read on Reddit. This can't be the only reason you're thinking of leaving him. You're in a whole marriage with kids and this is the end? My guess is this was the straw that broke the camel's back. Saying he would pick his friends over you is an instant deal breaker for me. I may not agree with all my wife's actions, but she is and always will be my #1 priority. Not same gamer friend with a matching tattoo. Simple answer. I'm not going to be around them, nor will our children, until I get an apology. If you feel like your wife and family are less important than your friends, then we need to have a serious discussion with counselor to see where our marriage is headed. I was disrespected and you refuse to see my point of view. That's not a partnership. Who calls their kid tick turd? My boyfriend is only dating me because he lost a bet. We've been seeing each other for 6 months, and up until a few days ago, things were going great. Or so I thought. He treated me perfectly, we never fought, he was charming, romantic, funny, and took serious interest in my interests, which is huge for me. He checked all the boxes, my family liked him, and I felt comfortable and relaxed being together. I've only had 2 relationships in my life, and they were very childish and short-lived when I was in my teens. Since then I've been alone. I'm very introverted and shy, which can make me come off as standoffish. I've tried to work on this and get out of my bubble, but I've accepted that I'm just not the type to go clubbing or partying in that way. My roommates, on the other hand, are like that and try to break me out of my bubble from time to time. Like I said, I've tried, but it's just not for me. They tell me I'm wasting my prime years, shutting myself inside all day, and I need to have a social life. To an extent I guess this is true, but I hate the bar crawl lifestyle, and online dating sketches me out. That's when a friend of theirs, that I was sort of acquainted with, told them he thought I was cute and wanted to take me out on a double date. This seemed to come out of nowhere, but it more my speed, being that I knew him already. We weren't like good friends, but he wasn't a complete stranger either. After the double date we went on a date, just the two of us. Then another. And another. It wasn't too long after that we were official, and honestly I've been on cloud 9 ever since. That was until speaking with another friend of his one night while at our apartment. Apparently, my boyfriend wasn't interested in me at all, and had to be coaxed into the double date. He thought I was weirdly quiet, and kind of awkward. That I wasn't his usually type of blonde cheerleader, and talking with me would be like babysitting. My friends and him bet that if their favorite sports team beat his sports team, then he would have to take me on at least 2 dates and see where it goes. I confronted them, and they begrudgingly said was true, but they only wanted to help me. I stormed out of my own apartment in tears and went to stay with my cousin for a few days. They've been blowing up my phone, saying I'm overreacting, and they wanted to help since I'm always a shut-in. I talked to him, and he said it was true. He didn't think of me romantically at all beforehand, just as their quiet roommate who never went out, like in some fucking monster under a bridge. He didn't want to be there on our double date, but you could have fooled me. In fact you did. He said the dates after the first 2 were in fact genuine, and was surprised at how much we hit it off. He's very sorry it came out this way, but he loves me a whole lot and wants to be with me, and everything since the first dates has been real. I believe him, but I feel so shitty about how my best relationship actually started. I feel like such a child that needed to have their hand held, and so ugly and awkward and stupid that a guy had to be forced to spend time with me. I feel like a walking charity case. Do my friends even want me around? Or am I some chore that everyone pities? I don't know if any of this is worth salvaging, and even if I tried, because this nagging feeling won't go away. All of this over a fucking football game. What a joke. This sounds like a rom-com plot. You are well within your rights to be angry and dump your boyfriend. You are well within your rights to dump your roommates and other friends for not being respectful. But recognize that this introverted, shy, standoffish-seeming girl just had a great guy fall for her. Maybe you're kind of special. Whatever else you do, hold on to that. I think I read this book. I don't think it's anywhere near as malicious as it feels to you. You prob just weren't his stereotypical type, and his friend then said, "Nah, she's a great girl, I bet you'd like her. If my team wins then you have to give it a shot with her," then he agreed. You aren't dating this guy because of what he thought about you before he really knew you on a first date. You're dating this guy because of what he thinks about you right now and how much he loves you. I, 30M, upset with my girlfriend, 25F, about how she acted at a club. So I'm going to go ahead and start with this as a long-distance relationship. We lived near each other for 1 year and then I had to leave for work, and she is supposed to be following me after 6 months once her contract is done. She came to visit after 3 months and I went through her phone. I know, I absolutely shouldn't have, and I regret it. It was the first and last time I've done it. Now, the reason why I did that was because I wanted to see what really happened one specific night that she went out where her stories didn't match up at all. She sent me pics that night of her with her friends and said no guy ever even approached them or anything odd, and that she only danced with her GFS and she barely drank at all. She was slurring her words when she called me. Sent me so many pics and videos throughout the night, and in everything it was just them. I dr right this second what it was, but at the time she had said a few different things that didn't match up, and it made me question that night very much. Anyways, I went through her phone, went onto the girls group chat and scrolled specifically to that exact date. Only to find that her friends had shared videos of her on a guy's shoulders dancing with all her friends cheering her on, and then dancing with several other guys. I also saw text from her friend asking if she plans on telling me how she was giving out her ass to every guy at the club, and they were all just laughing and saying it's best for me not to know. I also saw texts about how she had disappeared for a couple hours with one specific guy, which she responds on there that they were just talking and dancing but they just didn't see. They were also talking about one of her guy friends who is super ripped, mentioning how they'd fuck him if they ever got a chance, and all the girls were saying, "Me too," including my GF. I told her about what I saw and brought up the messages, and she instantly started crying and said she realized the next day how bad all of this was and she was so sorry. And that it would never happen again, and that it never went any further than dancing, talking with any of the guys. I broke her trust by going through her phone. I had asked several times to please be honest about that night because it was very fishy to me, and she fed me lies that I didn't believe. That's why I did what I did. But now I DK what to do. I love her very much and she's always been a great GF. I've completely lost trust in her though. Is the trust repairable? Is the relationship repairable? Please don't attack me about the phone thing. I know I should have never done that and I will never again do it. Edit. I spoke to her. I was kind but I broke it off. Thank you everyone who pitched in and gave me advice. I didn't respond to most because there were so many, but I did read every single comment from everyone. So I'm just going to leave this up for a little bit longer so people have this update, but then I'm gonna go ahead and just delete this post to have it off of my profile history. Also, you guys were right, I was being a little bitch. I'm 30. I make a 6-figure salary. I own a decent business on the side. And most importantly, I'm worth so much more than this. Thank you. Phone thing aside, she lied to you. How do you know it's the only thing she's lied about? I'm not a huge club person, but I enjoy going to shows. Sure, I may vibe with the people standing around me and we all groove. But in no way am I allowing strangers access to my super personal space like that. Especially in a relationship. I've seen how people dance at clubs. It's pretty sexual. I would not feel comfortable with my partner doing any of that either. Lol, she said she'd fuck her guy friend if she had the chance. What do you think would happen if he asked her for a hookup? Dump her ass. Honestly, probably not. She lied to you and was basically cheating on you and didn't even care when her friends were joking about it. I wouldn't stay. Boyfriend, 20M, thinks this is cheating. How to save relationship. So I broke up with my boyfriend, 20M, a few months ago, for saying he wanted to date other girls, and not treating me well at the time, though he's better now, and during the time we broke up, when we weren't together, I, 20F, messaged my ex from a year ago to hang out for the weekend, and talked about the breakup. Then I got back together with current boyfriend on Friday night, the night before I planned to hang out with my ex. So after I went to sleep, the only thing I messaged him the next day was, NVM, I got back together with boyfriend yesterday. Do you want to study at campus instead? He said no, and I didn't respond, and haven't talked to him since that question. I didn't bother deleting the message. I always let my boyfriend go through my phone, so I let him go through my phone and he found me saying, "Do you want to study with me at campus?" when he was going through my messages, and is calling me a cheater and saying he doesn't love me anymore. He told me to block him on everything, so I did. But he still says he doesn't know if he loves me anymore. He told me if I take him out on a date and a movie he maybe will love me again. I don't consider this cheating, but I want to know your opinion. Is this relationship save-able? I really love him. Any advice on what I should do? Update. He is talking to me like he always does and making his usual jokes, not out of the ordinary or attacking jokes. Not sure if this means he forgives me. He still didn't say I love you like he always does. Anytime I ask if he loves me he says, "We'll see." Broken up twice in less than a year. This relationship is toxic and just doesn't work. Date other people. Your boyfriend is an he can only love you if you buy his love? Nah, dump the man-child and find someone that's actually going to love you free of charge. This relationship sounds exhausting. He leaves you to sleep with other girls. You immediately try to make your ex a booty call. And then you get back with your current boyfriend and he says he won't like you unless you buy him food. Nah. Leave him. This all sounds like BS. Ha 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 ha. What? He thinks you cheated so he wants you to take him out so he considers loving you again? Is he 12? This is so messed up, on so many levels. He's a toddler who is not even remotely ready for an adult relationship. No, you didn't cheat. No, it's not okay to go through a partner's phone. No, he is not able to be a good partner to you right now.